say that it's selectively
Permeable.
what is it?
Permeable.
Permeable. Okay? Either selectively permeable or it is semi-permeable. Okay? Which means it allows certain things to come in and out. Well, today's lab, it's a diffusion lab. We're using what is called dialysis tubing. Okay? And if you look at this, okay, there's no hole, it's not taped. It is not taped. There's no holes in here at all. Okay? Now, the biggest challenge is trying to get this thing to open up one time. Okay, so let's see if we can work this out. Alright. You go ahead and pause it. You go ahead and pause it. You go ahead and pause it. You pause it? Pause it? All the way after you use the pencil here to open it up so we can actually put the contents inside of it. Okay? Now we're going to have two things we're going to be looking at today. Some of this may be a little bit of review of what we did when we did the macromolecules test. Okay? Now, this is now open. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this up, and at the other end, I'm going to tie it. Okay? So that way whatever we put in here does not come out. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and tie this dialysis tubing at the other end. Okay, very tightly so nothing comes out. Now, up here, we have some things we've seen before. Now, if you look at your paper, so you grab mine, you grab mine, you grab mine, you grab mine. Look at your paper there. It asks you to describe the molecules. Okay? The first one is iodine. Okay? The first one is iodine. How would you describe iodine? Like a brownish orange. So go ahead and write that down. Okay? It's like a brownish orange color. It's a brownish orange color. Alright? This is for iodine. Okay? Now, leave this here. Okay, it's a brownish orange liquid. That's fine. Okay? Next we have glucose. We have glucose. Okay? Now glucose is a sugar. Okay? I'll come around the room a little bit, kind of give you an idea as to what glucose looks like. So I want you to describe what it looks like. Okay, this is glucose. Okay, it is glucose. This is sugar. Almost look like, as we look at this here, make sure you write it down. You get it written down. Alright, now see writing in cursive. Okay. Alright, this is glucose. Alright, I'm trying to sniff it. Okay, this is glucose. Make sure you write it down what it looks like, describe what it looks like. Okay? Describe what it looks like. That's glucose. Now, the next one we have to look at is what? What's the next one? Starch. Okay? Now here is starch. Okay? This is what starch looks like. Okay? It's a little bit different. You gotta really look at it. Okay? You gotta really, it's more thicker than that. It's more of a powderish. Okay? Looks like flour almost. Okay? Alright, this is what starch looks like. Okay, this is a complex sugar. Okay, it's kind of what starch looks like compared to that. Maybe look a little different than sugar. Okay? Sorry about that. Okay, this is what starch looks like. Okay, this is starch, a little bit different. It's not as loose. It's not as loose as sugar. Right, so just go ahead and describe what it looks like. Okay? Okay? Alright, what's the next thing we need to look at? Well, we know water is what? Clear. Alright? Now what we're going to do is this. And this we told iodine already. We're going to take our dialysis tubing, like so. Alright? We're going to add just a little bit of water to it. Open it up. There it is. Alright, we've added our water in here. Okay. Now, next thing we'll do is, let's go to, I want you to put some sugar in there. We're putting glucose sugar inside the dialysis tube. Okay, put a little bit more. Okay. That's our glucose in there. Okay. We're going to put some starch in here. Okay. Put the starch in there. now, in both these here we have starch and sugar inside of here. So what I'm going to do now is kind of tie this up right about here. A little higher up. It's like doing a water balloon. Now, with this here, what I want to do is make sure it's nice and tight. But now, watch what I'm going to do next. I'm going to rinse this off. Why do you think I'm going to rinse this off?
So all the excess stuff gets off.
Right, so that way there's no leftover material on here at all from anything. Everything is only inside the dialysis tubing. I want to clean off as good as I can. Alright, and at the same time I'm mixing the two substances up together. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to place this inside the iodine. We'll leave it there for about 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes. Okay? Just like all the things in here is sugar and what? Starch. That's it. That's all that's in here. All we have in here is nothing but iodine and water. That's it. So let this sit here for about 15 minutes or so. And when we're done, we're going to come back and look at, see if there's any changes going to take place. 15-20 minutes. Okay? Keep that in mind. 15-20 minutes. Go ahead and pause it. Alright. We'll come back. Okay, what happened? Turn black. Why y'all laughing? Okay. Turn black. Okay. Now, why did it turn black? Iodine reacts with what? Such as starch. Turn black. Okay. Now, on your paper, let's finish this out. Fill this out. Okay. All right. Did iodine diffuse to the membrane? Did iodine diffuse to the membrane? Yes. Okay, we're on iodine right now. Did it diffuse to the membrane? Yes, it did. We know that. So, but in the beginning, were there any holes in here? No. But there's no trick here. The iodine that was in here, okay, went inside there, therefore causing the starch to turn black. Okay? Selectively permeable. Just like our cell membrane. Now, let's go to the next one. Okay? What was your evidence? What's your evidence? Huh? Okay? What turned black? The starch inside the tube turned black. The starch inside the tube turned what? Turned black. Just let you know there's no trick here. And we also looked at the beginning. Okay? Alright. Next one. The starch. Okay? Did starch leave the bag? If starch left the bag, what would have happened to the iodine? What color would it turn? What color would it turn? It would turn black. Did it? No. Okay? So the answer to your question for starch is, did it diffuse to the bag? No. Okay? What's your evidence? What's your evidence? The iodine, the beaker stayed same. Which is, what color is that? Like an orangish brown. Okay, stayed the same. Alright? The next part, glucose. Now, leave that to the side here. Let's find out if glucose moved to the bag. So we're going to do our typical glucose test. Okay? So take some of my sample here. Put it into this test tube here. Sugars in here. Benedict solution, good. Okay, we use Benedict solution. Okay. Now, put a little bit in here. Okay. Here's our Benedict's. Okay. What color is it? Blue. Okay. Let it sit there now. If sugar was to go through there, through the bag, what color should this turn? What color? Carrot orange. Good job. Turn carrot orange. So we're gonna give this a few minutes to let it do its thing, and let's do water while we wait for that. Let's look at water. Try to zoom in on the beacon. Okay. we have found it out? Say again. Right. The beak would have more water in it, right? Good job. So therefore, we could have taken we could have weighed the bag before and what? After to determine if water left here or not. If water left here, or went inside here, what do we call that process? Huh? Osmosis. It's called osmosis. When water diffuses across, it's called what?
Diffusion.
Osmosis, which is a type of diffusion. Does it make sense? Okay? Now, hopefully this will kick in pretty soon. But you kind of get an idea. Now, what's the purpose of this demo? What's the purpose of this demo? Check at the top. What's it say? Okay, how some things can go through a membrane and some things can't get out and vice versa. Okay, who's that similar to? Who's that similar to? What is that? What are we talking about here? Cell what? Membrane. Some things come in, some things can go out, some things can't come in, some things can't go out. Okay, so we're gonna let that marinate for a little bit. Any questions about the demo? Any questions? Now, you can actually do this demo at home if you wanted to. Okay, what I used to use before, you can actually use, and you can try this. Try using a Ziploc bag. Close the Ziploc bag up really tight. Rinse it out. Make sure all the air is out. You will find, we all know that Ziploc bags have no holes in them that we can see. But inside the Ziploc bag are microscopic holes that are small enough to allow things to go in and out. And this same exact activity can be done using a Ziploc bag. Okay? So you can also go home and YouTube it and find that out that way as well. Okay? So we're starting here to see something, I hope. Just a little bit. Guess we're trying to put a little bit more of this in there. Don't do this at home. Okay? Alright, let that marinate a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the process and let you know that sugar did move out of the bag. Sugar did move out of the bag. Okay, what's the evidence? That should turn what? Carrot orange. Okay? Okay? Did it move out? Did sugar move out? Yes. What's our evidence? The solution here should turn. You can kind of see it almost getting there. Slowly but surely, it's getting there. Let it sit a little bit longer. Okay? And that's our evidence. That it should turn what color? Carrot orange. Okay, that's how you fill up the last box there. Okay? So let's kind of recap that real quickly because I gotta, okay, so we can do that. So let's kind of recap this. We're looking at the second box, the second column over where it says, did a molecule diffuse to the membrane? So let's look at iodine. Did iodine diffuse to the membrane?
Yes.
Yes. What was our evidence? Okay, the starch inside turned black. Yes, I'm a trash picker. Now, all right, starch. Did starch leave? How do we know that? Because iodine stayed the same. Okay? It will turn black had there been a difference. Okay? The glucose, how do we know? We know because it started to turn carrot orange. Just take a little bit longer. Okay? Take a little bit longer. Alright? And water, we know, did it diffuse? Did it diffuse? Stay the same. Now, how could we have found out water could have went in or out? Is by either measuring the dialysis tubing before and after. Okay, I weigh it, how much water is in there, and then I subtract it, and I weigh it again after the fact. Okay? All right, and water we know stays the same as well. Okay? Any questions? Yes?
Did you just check the measurement on the beaker?
Yes, you can also, yes, good question. You can also check the measurement of the beaker as well. Okay, good observation.